All right, part one of why resumes are rejected. Well, on average, a job posting gets about 250 applicants, and according to these sources, about 75% of them are rejected at the ATS, the Applicant Tracking System stage, and only the top candidates really make it to the in-person screening. Only about top 25%. This means that over 180 applicants are rejected, and less than 70 are actually screened in person. And of the 70 screened, not everyone gets an interview because another 80 to 90% are rejected, and only about 5 to 10 are invited in for the actual job interview. So, why is it that of the 250 applicants, over 240 of them are rejected? And that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. I'm Professor Job Offer, and I've spent the last 10 years with a number of Forbes Global 2000 companies and have helped people land jobs and interviews with companies like this, including Google and Amazon. And I want to share with you my tips and tricks on landing your next job offer. So, starting with reason number one. The most common reason. Well, when people are applying for the jobs, they're not really meeting the qualifications or requirements, and these are associated with the skills, knowledge, and experiences that the job or the position requires. So let me illustrate with some examples. So Google, in one of their internship positions, they're asking the candidates to have these minimum qualifications, like pursuing a bachelor's or a master's degree in quantitative fields, and they give you some examples of that. Second bullet point says experience working with statistical packages, or experience articulating product questions to arrive at an answer. So that's what they're looking for. These are the qualifications. For example, Apple, to be a genius at an Apple store, the key qualifications that they look for are someone that has strong people skills and problem-solving skills, maintain composure, customer focus, troubleshooting, or being able to adhere to schedule. So if you cannot demonstrate on your resume, even if you have these skills, but if you do not demonstrate these skills, knowledge, and experiences that the job or the position requires, well, you're going to get rejected, and that is the reason number one. The second reason why resumes are rejected is because of spelling and grammar. This actually has two different consequences, and I'm going to break this down. So, starting with the first one, the first consequence is by having a spelling and grammar error, your resume might actually just fail at the ATS stage, at the applicant tracking system. So even before making it to the screening by an actual human being. So an example here, it says marketing. So on the ATS, the company is looking for somebody that has skills in marketing, but let's say you have a typo there, you have a spelling mistake, so that your resume is lacking the word marketing because you're missing a T, or you have two G's in there, or whatever it may be. So you don't end up in the top pile. So you don't get invited in for an interview for this particular marketing position because of a spelling mistake on your resume. A second consequence is actually during screening, and when an HR professional hiring manager reads through your resume and you have spelling errors and grammar errors, well, first off, it looks very unprofessional. It also demonstrates that you have lack of attention to detail and care towards the job that you've applied for. And lastly, depending on how your sentence is structured and what kind of grammatical errors you have, you may actually provide misleading information. So for that reason, that's another reason why an individual's resume may be rejected because of a spelling and grammar mistake. Okay, that brings us to reason number three, is because of poor formatting. What do I mean by poor formatting? Well, there's a number of different elements that are associated with this. Well, having a poor formatted resume means it's very difficult to read or comprehend the information that is present there, and this also could mean that it is very unorganized and thus distracting. So trying to find the information in terms of the skills, experience, knowledge that the candidate has is more challenging and more difficult. And lastly, poor formatting resumes usually are not in a reverse chronological order, so it is difficult to follow. And in terms of formatting, these are the factors that you want to consider. First and foremost, the font. Well, you're going to have to write your resume in a particular font. I'm talking about the style and size. And there are certain styles that are more attractive and they're easier to read than others, and I have a whole video on that, so you can refer to that. And another thing about formatting is the margins. So I strongly recommend anything between 1/2 inch to 1 inch margins on the top, bottom, left, and right, and that's pretty easy to kind of formulate on your Word document. And sections. well, how should we lay out the sections on your resume so it's easy to follow? I recommend the 5+1 format, which kind of starts with, the header, your contact information, having a summary, work experience, education, your extracurricular, and ending with like hobbies and interests. And I explained the entire all the sections in more detail if you want to know in this video. And lastly, use of colors. You definitely want to minimize the use of colors because it can really be very distracting. We're not drawing rainbows and unicorns here, so on your resume, do try to minimize the use of colors, 3 or 4 maximum. Okay, so reason number 3 why resumes are rejected is because of poor formatting. And if the formatting is not done properly, it may look unprofessional and difficult to comprehend by the reader. And if you're wondering, oh, I don't know where to start with formatting, or you don't have a resume yet, or if you want to change up your formatting, I have a 5-minute video. Well, it's like a 6-minute video showing you how to take it from a blank page to this particular sample in about 5 or 6 minutes using a Microsoft Word doc. So that may be helpful to take a look at. Okay, that brings us to the last reason for this part. The reason number 4 is because of an email address. Well, what I mean by this is if you have an unprofessional email that looks like hotmail@hotmail.com or bangbang@gmail.com or the pi 3.141.592 at example.com or Pokemon Master. If you have emails like this, it's very unprofessional, especially when applying for a job or a career. And you want to use a professional email, which is simple, also not shameful, and something that uses your name, like first and last name. So just kind of ask yourself, oh, do I want to work with bangbang@gmail.com, or do I want to work with Pokemon Master at yahoo.com? If the answer is no, or you can't really necessarily say yes to it, then you want to go seek and make yourself a professional email address. So let's quickly recap. Well, 75% of resumes are rejected at the ATS stage, and another 80 to 90% are rejected during screening. So only about 5 to 10 really make it. That means majority of the resumes are rejected. And in this video, we took a look at the 4 different reasons on why they're rejected, starting off with the resume not necessarily meeting the qualifications or requirements of the job description in regards to the skills, knowledge, and experience the company is looking for in a candidate. And if you don't highlight those on your resume, even if you have them, you're going to be rejected. Secondly, talking about the spelling and grammar mistakes. Remember, there's 2 different consequences: failing at the ATS level, and again, having another chance to fail at the screening level because it may look unprofessional and it shows that you are lacking the attention to detail. And the third reason is because of formatting, and that makes it really difficult to comprehend and also unprofessional. And last reason was due to an unprofessional email address, and you want to get yourself a professional email by following these steps. Well, that's it for today, and I'm going to have part 2 and part 3 coming. And well, thanks for watching.